I think we tore the goalpost down for the first 3 home games of the season.
This year, we're going to have more of a target on our back.
I was a one-star coming out of high school.
You got to Kansas City. I got cut, I think, the next day. You might have took my roster spot. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about Clemson.
They know who daddy is.
I'm just ready to watch some freaking football, man. I'm tired of talking about. I'm ready to watch freaking helmets smashing.
And ain't nothing like a Gamecock reunion.
You ready to rock and roll, man?
Tailgate Talks is proudly presented by our title sponsor, Green's Beverages, South Carolina's go-to spot for all things beer, wine, and spirits.
Whether you're stocking up for the tailgate, the back porch, or the big Gamecock win, Green's has the best selection at unbeatable prices.
Visit greensbeverages.com to find their nearest location. They have a ton of them, and load up before kickoff.
Big cheers and even bigger victories this fall. Thanks to our friends at Green's Beverages, who've been keeping Steven and I hydrated since 2007.
All right, Gamecock fans, this season we're raising a glass to bold flavors and even bolder conversations. Tailgate Talks is fueled by Bullet Bourbon, the official bourbon of backyard grills, pregame huddles, and postgame victory toast. Whether you're sipping it neat or mixing up Gamecock-style old-fashioned, Bullet's smooth finish keeps the tailgate vibes rolling. So pour one, press play, and let's talk some football. Bullet Bourbon, frontier whiskey for Gamecock Nation.
All right, what's going on, tailgaters and Gamecock Nation? Big week here. Big guest, big week. What you think, Steve?
Finally, man. Jesus. We've been waiting for a long time for this, huh?
Yeah, you know, it gets hot and sticky in Columbia, South Carolina. Actually, it's hot and sticky all the time in Columbia, South Carolina. But when it gets really hot and really sticky, you know football season's right around the corner. And we were out there for the second day of practice with the team, got to hang out with those current guys that we just had interviews with and kind of saw what the team was all about, which is, I think it's going to be an exciting year.
Oh, absolutely. Like I talked with JB the other day, and you said the same thing, man. That's an NFL looking roster right there. There's some big son of bitches, man.
Yeah, I mean, up front, they're bigger than we were when we were there, and we were pretty dominant up front. So I'm excited to see the growth and all that. But I think first off, we got to bat lead off with our guy Dante Robinson. How about that episode?
That was pretty awesome, man. He's sharp as a tack, that's for sure. I know you've done some business with him in the past and really currently. So I mean, he's a good dude, man. You can tell that he definitely still bleeds guard in black.
Yeah, I mean, cool as shit to come from. I mean, he grew up right in the backyard of Athens, Georgia. Got recruited there, but not heavily. He said he was a one-star. Pretty incredible to go from a one-star to the 10th overall pick in the NFL draft and then have a decade-long NFL career and all the accolades he had. But, I mean, his time – I thought the coolest part was his recruiting story. Like, nobody was recruiting him.
Oh, absolutely.
Opportunity to play in the SEC. Carolina won one game the two prior years of him coming here, and kind of same mindset as us. Screw it, I'm going to go do something that nothing's ever been done before. And sure enough, they won 9-10 games. So cool little run.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he was real sharp. And I mean, even hearing the stories about him trying to cover Calvin Johnson and some of these other big guys, and he's talking about he's not a bigger guy, and just I mean, just the overall stories he was saying was pretty cool.
Well, it's all mindset, and I feel like that's kind of the Gamecock mantra, right? Is like we were, a lot of us got recruited by other schools, but we're kind of like second tier in some capacities, and came here and just wanted to prove everybody wrong.
And he mentioned that on the episode too. I mean, several times. So yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, I feel like that's kind of what this team, at least that's the vibe that I'm getting. These guys play with the Coach Beamer, that kind of chip on his shoulder, like, you think I suck? All right, I'm gonna hit you right in your shit, and we'll see what happens.
It's football season. When you start talking like that, man, it's football season.
You're ready to rock and roll, man.
Yeah, but we are, when this episode airs, we will be 5 days from the first game against Virginia Tech. And let's talk a little bit about previewing this game this season. I mean, the only game on TV at that time, it's going to be, Sunday the 31st at 3 p.m. The only show in town. You got Shane Beamer coaching against his dad's old program, which is pretty special. Obviously, he coached there as well. playing in Atlanta, Georgia, which I would imagine is going to be a home game for the Gamecocks. But what are your first initial thoughts of kind of our guys, the team, and matchup?
I mean, I think the storyline is pretty incredible. I mean, obviously, it's the first time we've had a Heisman hopeful
Yep.
in a long time. It's the first time we've been ranked in the top 15 in a decade,
Yep.
11, 12, whatever long. It's been a while, man. All the stars are kind of aligning, and I'm ready. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys kind of battle against somebody else. I mean, obviously, but doing camp sucks.
Yep.
Camp just beating each other against the wall every single time sucks. Now you get a chance to take it against somebody else. Team against Virginia Tech that's kind of unproven. They got a new staff,
Yep.
kind of an unproven quarterback. I think it's going to be some fireworks.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
yeah. And I would say like position group that I'm most excited to watch is up front, the offensive line. There's the three interior guys are all going to be new. They've all played before, but kind of all playing together. They're all going to be new, and they're big and they're massive. And Lonnie Teasley and Greg Adkins and Sean Elliott and all the people on staff there. The run game, I think, is going to be something that we're going to lean on heavily to kind of get Lenorse's feet underneath them and get him some confidence. Why don't you talk a little bit about the receiving group?
I mean, obviously you got Nick Harper. I mean, who the hell doesn't know that guy?
The Avatar.
I'm looking right, and I'm just looking forward to kind of seeing. A lot of people don't really talk about Mazio Bennett anymore.
Yep.
I don't. Did he fall off the face of the earth, or what's going on? I mean, I think he kind of came out of a shell last year, and I think he's going to be kind of a big piece of the puzzle there for these guys.
I mean, also to kind of continue to harp on that group, but Jared Brown's played a bunch of football too. He's a fifth-year senior, I think, maybe even the sixth-year senior because they let these guys play forever. But the name that I keep hearing coming out of camp is Donovan Murphy, who's Alshon's little cousin. And when we talked to Alshon on the phone a couple weeks ago, just catching up, he was like, number six, you got to watch number 6. And I've heard he has made plays left and right. So as a 17-year-old, a guy who should be a senior in high school, who's going to be making plays in the SEC on the biggest stage, I'm excited to watch him as well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's been done before. Look at the guy last year for Alabama. I mean,
Yeah.
Ryan Williams, he was 17 years old too. I mean, so these guys are not they're not your typical 17. Me and you at 17, we're not doing what these guys are doing right now.
Not so much. And I'm like still, man, Rasul would definitely kind of push us over the edge and let us rely on that run game.
I just don't understand the NCAA. That's a whole different story. That's a whole nother freaking episode. We can talk about the NCAA and the corrupt bullshit they got
first
going
off,
on.
speaking about the NCAA, we need a little kickback. The 10-year bullshit from NAL.
Yeah, agreed.
That's my first strike with them. But as we've said a million times, like it would have been more of a distraction. Probably would have caused more harm than good in the long run. But sitting here at 35, 36 years old, I'd like to check at this point.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt.
But hey, this is a position group that probably doesn't get talked about much. That I think is going to be interesting to follow this year is the interior defensive line. Losing T.J. Sanders, Tunka Hemingway, Boogie Huntley, like those are 3 guys that made a bunch of plays for the Gamecocks last year, and Nick Barrett and Goodwine are the plug and play guys that should get most of the reps. But it's hard to replace, 2 guys that were drafted in the first 5 rounds of the NFL draft at that position.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's a good thing they have a hell of a coach with Coach Robertson,
Yeah.
T-Rob.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have those guys, those newcomers, ready to rock and roll. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about Dylan Stewart. He said 4 words on our podcast last week, and we basically heard all we needed to hear from him. I'm about that action, boss.
Yeah. Get sacks. I'm here to get sacks. Sack the quarterback.
Yeah. But across from him, I'm excited to see Greer and Brian Thomas Jr. Those are 2 guys that I think are due. I think anybody that plays across from him is going to have a pretty good opportunity because quarterbacks are going to slowly drift away from Dylan Stewart.
Yeah, no doubt. And, he's going to draw a lot of attention with, tight end chipping and, the guard kind of pushing out a little bit too, the running backs chipping. So they're going to be some one-on-one matchups for that other side of the
slide is always going to number 6 this year. We can go ahead and put that in the bank.
I would imagine.
And then this is another interesting group. I mean, defensively, we lost a lot of guys, a lot of draft picks. But that linebacker room, it is the 3 starters are all gone. Debo, D Knight, and then Bam Martin Scott. have to replace all three of those. And really, the guys that we brought in, the guys that are replacing them, have played some, but not a lot. Fred Johnson, I've heard great things about from camp. Looks the part, plays the part, leader, physical specimen. Sean Murphy, who's the transfer from Florida State, who I think was out of Alabama to start, is another great add. He's extremely athletic, can cover guys. He's playing that will spot. But that Sam linebacker spot, I'm not sure where exactly we're going to land there. I know we're a little bit more of a 4-2-5 defense, but 4-2-5 gets you vulnerable at times too in the run game.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be interesting, man. I think there's going to be a lot of things to kind of see how the season's going to kind of progress from there after this first game. But again, playing against a kind of an unproven quarterback, a new offensive coordinator with I forget his name, Coach Montgomery, I believe, for Virginia Tech. So yeah, they're gonna have their hands full. But when you got a defensive line, especially with Dylan Stewart kind of breathing down your neck, it's gonna let your defensive backs and linebackers have a little bit more flexibility.
Well, and we have, a lot of these, our entire secondary has played a decent amount of ball. So like you got DQ Smith, Jalen Kilgore, both guys that are going to have some preseason ranking, and then Bakari Swain, Judge Collier, Peyton Williams, like they're all guys that have been in the program now for 3 or 4 years. Clayton White's system. So I think that group is primed. I think a big question mark, we had it last year a little bit of kicker woes that might have cost us a game or two, but we'll have an entire new specialist group. Kai Kroger's gone. Alex Herrera kicked last year, but every time when I was playing in the NFL, every time our special teams group went out there, our special teams coach mentioned points. Every time you guys are going out there, we're talking points. We're talking points. We're talking points. So we need that group to play well because you got to win all 3 phases.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's a good thing. It's Beamer ball, man. Beamer ball 2.0. That's his specialty.
That's true. So what overall big outlook, your thoughts on the season? I mean, have you gone through the entire schedule, and what do you think of a good, if the over-under is what, 7.5 wins?
I think I saw 7.5. Yeah. I mean, going from what was it, 4.5 last year to winning 9 games. I think, I don't know. I'm looking at the schedule right now. I mean, the first half of the season's, I think it's very, very easy to go 5-0. Leading into that LSU game. And then after LSU, man, that's the SEC gauntlet. So it's hard to say. I think there's a lot of unproven pieces to the puzzle, but obviously you got a guy like Lenoris that can make things happen by himself for all intents and purposes. And I think Coach Shula is going to kind of get the ball in his hand, let him run around a little bit, and just make plays. So it's hard to say. It's gonna be interesting, man. I mean, I know I'm looking at your predictions right now. I think it's going to start from this first game, man. I think that's going to be the tall tale sign of how the season's going to go.
I mean, I'm betting the over. Obviously,
over for sure.
Through. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not betting my house on it because the SEC is a brutal ass schedule and injuries happen and you know how football goes. Injury rate's 100%. But I mean, I think you sit here and you start off and you go 5-0. Virginia Tech, South Carolina State, Vandy, Missouri, Kentucky. You win those 5 games and you get hot. Get confidence, chest sticking out a little bit, teams gelling. I mean, I think you're going into that LSU game at 5-0, and like we're probably a top 5 team in the country at that point. LSU, I know they play Clemson week 1, but other than that, I don't think their schedule's too hard the first few weeks after that. So I mean, that game could potentially be 3:30 game day, CBS, and yeah, I mean. I think it could be a big one. The back half of the schedule, like you said, is a gauntlet, right? Oklahoma, Bama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Coastal, and then Clemson to finish it up. But I like the Gamecocks going 9-3 this year, and I think the most important games are the first one. You can't go undefeated unless you win the first one. But right. I think that's a real true telling factor of who we're going to be. Come out hot, make a statement game. I think we're 7.5-point favorites, but I think it's more of a statement game of like, you guys slept on us last year. We proved you wrong. We're going to come and impose our will now. that, and then going into that LSU game at 5-0, I think those are our two pivotal games this year. And then, 5 of the last 6 or 6 of the last 7 are all gauntlet games, right? I mean, we hopefully win half of those or more than half of those. But those games are all I have those games as all 1-score games.
Yeah. I mean, don't be. It's. I know you saw the thing with Diego Pavia said, the Vanderbilt kid. He said he's got the South Carolina game circled on the schedule, and it's not. I'm not just picking on him or saying it's him. I think there's going to be a lot of teams, a lot of quarterbacks around the SEC that are saying, I'm circling this team. Think about Oklahoma.
Yep.
We went over there and beat the shit out of them.
Yep.
You don't think they want a little revenge for this year? So I don't think many teams are going to be, many coaches, teams, fans. I don't think anybody's going to be sleeping on us this year. We're going to have more of a target on our back. I mean, you remember, we started having a target on our back in 2010, and then obviously 2011 and the rest of it is history. But when you play a little different, you have a little bit more of a, I don't want to say a little bit more of an edge, or you're kind of looking over your shoulder, but you definitely can feel a little bit more pressure when people are, looking at you to be, they're circling your schedule or your team.
I mean, Beamer just like I know Beamer, like he's a competitive joker, and competition brings out the best in you, right? And in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, I mean, these teams, we're going to be circling a lot of teams' schedule this year, and we got to elevate. And I know Coach Beamer's going to be singing those praises from the meeting room, in the locker room before games. Hey guys, we can't just show up. We got to play our best football. So, I'm excited. This is a big season. We also had some other big news just break, or hasn't. It just broke. I guess we're recording this before it breaks, but it's going to be broken at the time that this airs. But I wish I had Nike back in the day.
No kidding, man. I mean, you remember the receivers like JB and Wesley and those guys would literally wrap their Under Armour shoes with tape and then draw a Nike check on them.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It was they wore Nike shoes, wrapped it around, and then drew the Under Armour logo because they couldn't wear Nike.
Well, we also had so many. I mean, we were one of the first schools that was Under Armour, and you remember the Under Armour reps that would come in and basically be like, we're all complaining about their shoes, and they're like, what do we do different? We're like, get a Nike shoe and create that. Like, that's what you do. That's the model.
Reverse engineer that shit.
Yeah, but Donati, it's a big move.
Yeah,
he's making
that's a huge move, and I mean it's been blasted all over social media today. So to be honest, I looked at my phone. I was like, "Is today April 1st or what?" I don't understand what's going on here. So interesting time to kind of announce that, but I can tell that I know the boys are going to be excited about having Nike moving forward.
Hell yeah,
no offense to Under Armour, no offense, but
love you,
Nike's,
but Nike's better. But I mean, it's also going to be a big recruiting move, right? I mean, you get Jordan stuff and all. I mean, it's an elevation, which I think Coach Beamer and Jeremiah Donati are trying to bring to Gamecock sports, is elevating everything. So, speaking of elevating, your boys are rolling with this podcast.
Absolutely, season 2, man. Season 2 is off to a freaking bang.
Yeah. Well, let's keep it rolling. Remember, hey, we're on YouTube. We're on all the social media platforms. Make sure you check it out. Like, subscribe, do all the things. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Dante Robinson, 10th overall pick, Gamecock legend, real estate connoisseur, a little bit of everything. He's a well-versed person.
That he is. That he was. Yeah, for sure. He was solid, man. It was a hell of an episode, and I'm just ready to watch some freaking football, man. I'm tired of talking about. I'm ready to watch freaking helmets smashing.
Let's go.
We talk a lot about defining moments when it comes to football.
One choice can change the entire outcome of a game or season.
Moments that seem small often make a substantial impact in the long run, and that is true in all facets of life.
Like whom you choose to bank with?
Picking the right bank can make a huge difference in finding success.
That's why you need to elevate your financial game with Founders Federal Credit Union. Their rates are always competitive, and they've got trusted financial tools that help keep your financial goals on track.
Don't forget their service to their membership and community is unrivaled.
Get in the game today. Swing by a Founders office near you or visit foundersfcu.com to apply for membership. Founders is federally insured by the NCUA. Membership qualification is required. Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Steel End Brewing in Casey has you covered. Whether you're craving a refreshing craft beer or just a great time with friends and family, Steel Hands has it all. With a variety of craft beers, spacious outdoor beer gardens, and a delicious food menu, there's something for everyone. Plus, join them for free live music every Thursday through Sunday. Visit steelhandsbrewing.com to see their lineup of upcoming events or host your own. Handforce and Casey voted best local brewery again this year. Go visit steelhandsbrewing.com.
Hey Gamecocks, at Granger Owings, style starts with you. From custom fits to emerging brands, they offer a curated selection of women's and men's clothing for work, weekends, and every moment in between. Their stylists take the time to understand your lifestyle, then help you build a wardrobe that fits your needs and feels like you. Shop in store, downtown on Main Street and Trenton Plaza, or book a fitting online at grangerowings.com. Granger Owings, where personal style meets personal service.
All right, we are here this week with Gamecock legend, NFL legend, Gamecock brother, Dante Robinson.
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on, dude?
What's up, man? What's up, man? What's up, Pat? What's up, Steven? How y'all doing, man?
Good, man. Glad you could make it happen, man, and get on here.
Hey, man, ain't nothing like a Gamecock reunion. So,
That's what it's all
man, so
about.
I got to jump on and make it happen.
We got to do it in person next time, though, man.
Yeah.
It's weird drinking visually, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, for sure, man. Nah, but, we definitely got to get up, man. It's time. It's time for me to reunite again with some of my Gamecock brothers, man. Even though we do got a big following, got a lot of Gamecocks down here in Atlanta, man. I just talked to Cliff Matthews the other day.
Yeah.
And, he's head coach somewhere over here in Snedville at a JUCO, man. So,
Yep.
son Abraham, you know what I mean. So, we stay connected.
Well, I can tell you what, and this episode will air on a couple days, probably before the first game, and it's going to be a home game in Atlanta for the Gamecocks. I can tell you that. It's going to be loud and proud. I know Mercedes-Benz is going to be rocking.
Yes, sir. That's who Virginia Tech, right?
Yep. Open up with Shane Beamer playing against his dad's old squad, Frank Beamer up at Virginia Tech. And obviously Shane coached there, so he's familiar with the program. And there's all these, I don't know if you guys have read them, but there was all the myths of like, man, if they ever offer him the head job, he'll definitely leave South Carolina to go back there. And he said 100 times through, I ain't leaving. What's
Hey, they all say that until they show the money. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
Money talks.
He won't be. I mean, right now he just signed that extension though, man. So I think we showing them the money at least for right now. So keep him around for a while.
Yeah, and he's grown it organically the right way, which has been cool. I mean, a lot of these teams don't recruit high school kids anymore, don't really develop high school kids. They just jump straight in the portal and revamp rosters where we got a bunch of young guys that are playing. We're still attacking the high school realms. Obviously, Atlanta is a big hub for high school talent. But speaking on that, I mean, you chose South Carolina after they won one game in 2 years. You're like, I want to go there. That sounds like a good idea. So you came here in 2000.
Yeah.
When you grew up just outside of Atlanta, close to Athens. How the hell did the Dogs let you sneak out of Athens, Georgia?
Hey, man, that's, you have to talk to Jim Dunnan and Evan Ramsey, was the defensive coordinator, about that. Last conversation I remember having with the Dogs around that time is they were asking me if I wanted to play wide receiver. I was like, nope. Yep. Lou Holtz was calling, and he was saying, what position do you want to play in the secondary? Yep. You know what I mean? So, and so that helped me make my decision, playing for a legend at that time. Like Lou, man, it was really a no-brainer. And then, I felt like with a team being that bad, I could play early. You know what I mean? So, and that was kind of my common goal coming into it. And then once I got here, I realized they really weren't that bad, man. They had some studs on that team. A couple of guys, Sheldon Brown, Andre Goodman, Willie Alford. Those guys were all second and third round draft picks. Who that I played with, and Kalimba Edwards. So it was some good players on that team, man. And we finally, once I came in 2000, we got it together. I think 9-3, then another 10-3 season, and kind of got the Gamecock football team back on track.
Yeah, we've had two of your teammates that you're pretty close with on the episode before. We had John Strickland, who's an absolute psychopath. and Ryan Brewer, who is probably a bigger psychopath than John Strickland.
Yeah, man. I remember Brewer coming out. He was Mr. Football in Ohio, man. So I knew he had some good players. Had him. Derek Watson was Mr. Football in South Carolina, and Andrew Pinnock was Mr. Football, I want to say, in Connecticut. You know what I mean? So brought all three of them guys in as running backs, man, and help put the program back on track.
Yeah, you make something happen with guys like that. So what other schools were kind of in the recruiting world with you when you were coming out of high school? Did you have everybody or?
No, man, I don't really get caught up in stars and things right now because I was a one-star coming out of high school.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, I had teams like Louisville. I was getting a lot of interest from everybody, man, but just scholarship offers. I didn't have a lot of scholarship offers. I had some HBCUs, Louisville and South Carolina were really my only scholarship offers coming out, man. So, so I wasn't one of those guys. I don't have the story to tell that I was a 5-star guy coming out, a 4-star guy coming out. You know what I mean? I was a marginal prospect coming out. You know what I mean?
Hey, but you blossomed right when you needed to blossom.
Yeah, I kind of peaked at the right time. Yep. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's all it takes. Some kids are late bloomers.
Yep.
Some don't bloom at all. You know what I mean? So it just depends on, I guess, who you are. I think one of the biggest things for me, man, was kind of my work ethic because I was always a lot smaller than everybody else. So I had to always work extra hard, to be recognized. And, I kind of carried that through college and on to the NFL. As you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of guys that have said that kind of similar story. I mean, Captain Munderland kind of rings the bell the most. Just kind of playing with that chip on the shoulder, like, smaller guy, like, man, I got to knock the fuck out of somebody to get get recognized a little bit. So, I think that helps a lot.
We had a run of DB. I mean, are still having that same run of DBs, but I mean, we've always,
we turn them out.
Yeah, from you, Sheldon,
Stephon,
DJ.
Man, like the list goes on. Fred Bennett, on and on. Jonathan Joseph, Captain Munderland. You know what I mean? So I think we were DBU before maybe LSU took it over. I think we had 2 get drafted last year, so we kind of reclaiming that spot. You know what I mean?
Well, tell us a little bit about like getting to Columbia. Kind of some of your early experiences, what you fell in love with about the place, what you fell in love with about the school. And all that stuff.
Man, I don't know if the Roost is still around. But
she gone.
she been gone.
She been gone. But that was the first place. That was the first place we stayed, man. East Quad was brand new when we moved in. I mean, I came down there a couple of years ago. I can only imagine what it looked like now. But I came down maybe in 2017, 2018, and I was looking at the new dorms, and it looked like a resort. You know what I mean? So
like compared to what we had.
These guys aren't staying in dorms. These guys are getting paid a lot of money. They ain't staying in dorms.
Yeah, they get paid a lot of money staying in nice cribs and
man,
cars.
I was up there with Pat. What was that? 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I go to the practice field. I'm driving this little piece of shit rental car from Tampa. I come in there. I see Hellcats, Range Rovers, freaking Beam, just all sorts. I'm like, man, this is some bullshit.
Hey, man, I don't know how they stay motivated, dog. I can't imagine being 18, 19. That's what motivated me to kind of, work as hard as I did to get to the league. I couldn't imagine, having $1 million contract as an 18, 19-year-old. I'm kind of glad that didn't exist when I was around. Ain't no telling.
We say that all the time. Like, one, we would have been idiots. We thought we were already rich and we were getting $50 a weekend money. Like, I'm like, man, I can't spend all this money in a weekend. But yeah, I mean, it's a different world. But with the money comes distractions and all that stuff too. They got agents calling them, I'm sure. Financial advisors pestering about them different investments when really they're trying to get a degree and get ready to play in the SEC, which is not an easy task.
Yeah, like the minor leagues of the NFL, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
And speaking of, man, I'm looking at that schedule, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? They got a schedule this year, so if we can
it's always a gauntlet. It is weird. Like I was talking with Coach Spurrier about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He called me just to catch up, and he was He's like, man, it's so weird. You don't play Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. You don't play the East anymore. Like now it's kind of just a big old jumble. And he's like, I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't like it.
Yeah. It's kind of all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so but I feel it. Spurrier is more of a traditionalist. I mean, me too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you know, we like the flow. You know, we used to play Georgia early. I think it was second game of the season. You know what I mean? And you play some lesser team, probably first game play, and then you get into your SEC schedule. Now, you guys may have did, but I never played against Missouri. You know what I mean? Coming out, we didn't.
No, we missed them.
Nope.
Yeah, so I never played against Texas.
Steven was supposed to play against them, and then he got kicked off the team.
I think Missouri and I think A&M. I don't remember.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, so it's they do things.
But it's crazy because Missouri joined the SEC from the Big 10 or Big 12.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it was from the Big 12, and like everyone was like, "Oh yeah, like Missouri joined the SEC East too. Like that's an easy win." They came in and won the son of a bitch 2 years in a row. The first 2 years.
Right? Yeah, man. I mean, look, if you coming into the SEC, you got to adjust to the style. If you're trying to survive, you got to adjust to that style of football. You know what I mean? It's the best conference in football. I call it the minor leagues. You know, if you're talking about NFL, it's the minor leagues of the NFL, man. You know what I mean?
100%. Well, talking about that transition and going from college to South Carolina, like who were the big influences, guys on the team that were leaders that you kind of wanted to model your game after and kind of showed you the ropes?
Yeah, man. When I got here, my host was a guy called Marco Hutchinson, who was a middle linebacker, and he showed me great hospitality when I came on my visit to South Carolina. And then Kalimba Edwards, man, he's actually out of Atlanta.
He was like a D end outside backer, right?
Yeah, man. He was like 6'5", 245 pounds. I'm talking about shredded, freaky athlete.
That's not normal.
You know what I mean? Like, and I remember seeing him just come to the door, and he just popped out of the room. He was kind of like an introverted guy, and he just came to the door, and I'm looking at this, and, I'm looking up at this dude. I'm like, whatever team he's on, I want to be on that team. You know what I mean? Yeah, and he ended up being, I think, an All-American second round draft pick, Detroit Lions. You know what I'm saying? So I got a chance to play with some great guys. When I got to South Carolina, it's kind of the way things work. A lot of kids now, if they had made the decision, if they had kind of been placed in the situation that I was placed in, they would have probably hit the transfer portal. I came in and they moved me to strong safety right away. You know what I mean? So here I am, and we didn't have your typical start deep, come down in the box strong safety. We had like outside linebackers that we call spurs.
Yep.
I mean, so I played that position for the first 2 years of my career, man, and it was hard.
Got you involved in the game quick.
Yeah, bro. I'm at $170, 65, taking on pulling guards and tight ends and fullbacks. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't easy, man. You know what I mean? But but I finally got my chance. I finally got my chance to move the corner. My junior year, in the spring of my junior year, man, it was basically an audition. Because like I said, between Sheldon Brown, Andre Goodman, and Willie Alford, those guys had been drafted, and they were looking for guys to, seeing if they wanted to try out this cornerback spot, man. So I tried out, and, the rest was history.
Well, I mean,
hold on real quick while I'm thinking about it. Yeah. I know you've had to have seen it. It's Deion Sanders and somebody else talking about who is the better corner in the NFL.
Wait, was it Asante?
Yes, Asante Samuel. I was just talking about this with somebody. Well, I want to hear your expert opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, Deion Sanders is probably the best athlete, one of the best athletes to play any sport. You know what I mean? And so Deion is like in a different class because he was so such a great athlete. But I had the chance to play with Asante Samuel. Here's a guy that's about 5'10". He ain't that bad.
Smart as shit.
Yeah, man. Most of his interceptions didn't come off of, athletic ability. It came off of him understanding route concepts and things like that. So I like to say, they played cornerback totally different. I think both of them ended up with 56, 57 interceptions, which is an insane number.
That is, yeah.
But, man, Asante, that T-step that they were arguing about, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Asante had probably the quickest outer break T-step that I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? So just witnessing him on the other side of me. So, I think they were both very different, even though they played the same position. They both brought different things to the game. But I got to go.
Dante was a different bird too.
Yeah, man.
He a lot of people thought he was like extremely arrogant, but man, he was just confident in who he was. Like he was going to talk shit, didn't care who you were, was going to go at you. Like he was like the typical like DB swagger.
Man, he brought that energy to Atlanta, man. I would say probably my last year in Atlanta, 2012, which was the only year that I played with him. And, and we were already a confident secondary. And then when he came into the picture, man, it just took us to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? So I didn't realize people talk that much shit. You know what I mean? In practice. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Like he was off the wall. There was a time we were stretching, and our OC was Dirk Cutter.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was always like a Sante's question of the day. Like we're all stretching, and he's making a scene. He's walking around. He's asking people different questions. He asked, I forget the exact question, but he asked Dirk Cutter something about like having sex with his wife. It's like how often you bang your wife, like in front of everybody. It was like Dirk's
what was Dirk's response, man?
Dirk was like so taken back. He was like, "Oh, whoa, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do here." But
that is hysterical.
Hell of a dude to play with, man. Definitely brought that swagger to Atlanta. So,
but that was just his personality. He didn't give a shit. He was gonna. I mean, he caught me. We had our little spring jamboree. And we ran a wide zone, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, nice. Like, a receiver cracked the safety, so I got the corner. I'm just going to go in there and blow him up. And he got low as shit, and he struck me from the ground up, hit me in the jaw. I remember being like, oh, my God. Like, I thought I was going to deliver the blow. I mean, my head was spinning a little bit after that one.
Yeah, man. I mean, but I would say about Asante, he definitely one of the best to ever do it. You know what I mean? No matter, I know there's an argument between who's the best just based off of numbers and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you're talking about two guys that, are two greats. You know what I mean? So both of them.
Well,
I got you.
Your game, like you were a physical ass corner. Like there weren't many of them. There aren't many of them now. Like, and I bet there weren't many back then. But like you laid the hammer.
Yeah, man.
Talk about like, do you think that had a lot to do with coming in and playing that rover nickel spot, playing some safety?
I definitely think so. Because the transfer portal wasn't the cool thing to do back then. So you had to figure out how to survive. Yep. You had to figure out how to adjust. And playing strong safety for 2 years, like I said, I wasn't a big guy, so I was having to run into guys with everything that I had, in order just to survive. And the same way that I'm talking about prime time and I'm talking about Asante and their gifts and what they did. I feel like as far as physicality, there's no corner to play the game that played the game with the style of physicality that I brought to the game. So that's the beautiful thing about all positions. Everybody can do it differently.
Right?
Yeah, and so so just that physicality though, man, it was a survival strategy early, and which it ended up being a bonus for me later in my career, especially when I moved to corner my junior year at South Carolina, and I recognized I was one of the better cover guys and probably the best tackler in the SEC in the secondary. So, it helped my draft status, man, and I ended up 10th overall.
Yep. Well, being like you just mentioned, being physical. I mean, what would you say your hardest hit is?
Oh man, now if we're talking about just in general. Of course, Deshaun Jackson.
That's okay.
I was hoping if you hit somebody harder than that, holy shit.
But you know what, Pat? I was so excited to hit somebody my size or smaller because I haven't tried to use your size. You know what I mean? I have been hitting running backs and fullbacks and tight ends. You know what I'm saying? That I definitely didn't mean to knock myself out, nor him, to be honest with you. And that was also one of them times where I realized, dang, bro, I ain't as fast as I used to be. You know what I mean? Because I knew he was lined up in a place where they were trying to give him the ball. And so I saw the route develop, and I'm thinking easy interception. But I didn't get there as fast as I needed to, man. And, the only thing after that is just a bang, bang collision. And here we go, pop, boom, bang. Both of us.
Well, that hit, I mean, I think is still like a highlight on almost every NFL channel that pops up. That hit always comes up.
Yeah, man. And I got a fine for that hit, man. But like I said, that was just my game. You know what I mean?
Worth every cent.
Yeah, bro. And I had been doing it my whole life. You know what I mean? So at that time I realized, okay, they're trying to change the game a little bit. So I didn't really take it personal. I know every generation they try to find new ways to make the game better. So, I didn't really take it personal, man. But that was definitely the way that I grew up and learned how to play, football. So
I mean, I don't necessarily agree if they're trying to find ways to make it better. I feel like they're handicapping the shit out of defensive guys.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
you guys can't hit the quarterback. You literally can't hit him at all. I mean, there's just so many different rules now. That's just, and I played quarterback. I played offense. It's like, God, it's so damn soft right now.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, the average NFL fan doesn't want a 3-0 game, right?
Yeah.
They don't want a defensive game. They want the score to be 40-38 and see stuff all the time when, like, the true football people that we are, like, we want a tough, tight, like, physical ball game.
Yeah, see people get whacked.
Sells.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm a defender. So, our goal every day is to make sure we shut out the offense. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what defenses shoot for. But yeah, I feel it, offense is the thing that people get excited about and love to see. I wouldn't be surprised, man, in the next few years if they just wearing shells in football. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like a true 7-on-7 league.
I hate to say it, but yeah, it wouldn't shock me one bit.
Yeah.
Tailgate Talks is powered by Lanier and Burroughs, South Carolina's premier accident attorneys. If you've been in a truck wreck, car crash, slip and fall, or suffered injury on the job, these guys have the experience to fight for the compensation you deserve. Founding partner Louis Lanier has been battling for South Carolina since 1974, and Shane Burroughs brings over 15 years of top-rated trial experience. Best part? They're Gamecocks, and they offer a free initial consultation and will come to you. Give them a call at 803-268-9800 or visit landblawfirm.com. Lanier and Burroughs, fierce advocates, local roots, proven results.
Home Team Barbecue is fired up to take care of your tailgate and watch party needs this season. Home Team is known for its smoked meats, creative daily specials, and twists on Southern classic. Smoked wings, ribs, pulled pork sliders, barbecue nachos, or classic sides like mac and cheese and collard greens are the perfect feast to fuel your game day. Round up your friends and give Home Team Catering a shout at catering@hometeambarbecue.com or head to 5 Points for a frozen game changer cocktail and barbecue snacks to celebrate the next Gamecocks big win. Visit hometeambarbecue.com to check out the menu.
Tailgate Talks is brought to you by JCQ Farms, a proud South Carolina family farm rooted in tradition and built on quality. Whether it's their premium beef, farm fresh produce, or their signature smoked meats, JCQ Farms brings the taste of the South straight to your table. Perfect for your next tailgate, backyard barbecue, or family dinner. Remember, always support your American farms because they are drying out each day. Support local, eat better, and stock up for the season. JCQ Farms, where quality meets Carolina pride.
Gamecock Nation, it's time to elevate your outdoor space. Palm Casual Outdoor Furniture, Gamecock owned and operated, has you covered with locations all across South Carolina. Whether you're poolside, tailgating, or watching the Gamecocks dominate in your backyard, Palm Casual has the perfect setup for you. Visit them online at palmcasual.com and gear up for a fall filled with Gamecock victories. Cheers to a winning season from the DeMarco back porch, proudly furnished by Palm Casual.
What do you have any crazy memorable games during your time at South Carolina or memorable moments? Like what really jumps off to you?
Man, I would say in 2000, I think we tore the goalpost down for the first games of the season.
beat Georgia, right?
Yeah, man, we beat Georgia. And then I think the first game may have been New Mexico State. I think we were just so happy to win a game. The goalpost came down for that. And I think maybe we beat Mississippi State and the goalpost came down again. So, we were spending a lot of time walking goalposts down where 5 Points.
In the 5 Points, yeah. Part of that goalpost is still in
awesome.
Henry's. The restaurant right there on Divine Street, a part of the goalpost is still sitting
there. Yeah, man. So, but I mean, a a lot of memories. I can remember my first piece of action, man. First time stepping on the field for the first time, and coming out.
I thought you were going to say something way different when you your first piece of action.
What did you think? Oh, nah. I can't talk about that action, man. You know what I mean? A lot has changed. I've grown a lot.
Yeah. My bad. Go ahead, man. My bad.
Nah, all good, man. But just that first piece of action being in Williams-Brice, you know what I'm saying, and just being like, damn, I'm here. You know what I mean? I've arrived. I'm playing SEC caliber football, and so. And realizing that, man, I think I'm built for this because I have no fear. You know what I mean? So I think I'll be all right. It wasn't a scary thing. It was like, dang, it was more of a, I want more of this,
Yeah, no other way to survive in the SEC. I mean, you get backed in the corner. It's either fight or flight.
Yep.
And you better be ready.
Yeah, some of those guys that aren't about the business, they jump out real quick and they go somewhere else and they can be a superstar, but they're not about that action.
Yo, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to live through you guys, though. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all were knocking off number ones, like, back then, number one seed, number one team.
That was a cool last night. But I mean, it's crazy because Steven and I are both from Florida, so we knew nothing really about South Carolina going in there. And we go there, or at least on my visit, and I'm seeing the history and like guys like you that are drafted in the first round and Sheldon and all these other guys. And I'm like, shit. Yeah. I mean, I grew up a Gator fan. Both my parents went to Florida. So like historically going to South Carolina, Florida games, like Florida would, especially in the late 90s, would beat the shit out of South Carolina. But I mean, during my recruiting process, 2005 was an upset. 2006, I think, was another close one where South Carolina missed by a field goal or something. But it was like
I blocked a field goal.
Tide's turning. And the playing field's kind of leveled out.
Yeah, for sure. Nah, and I can relate to that because, I'm from Athens, Georgia. So I knew nothing about South Carolina before I came either. You know what I mean? I was a Bulldog fan, you know what I mean? So I knew all about, the great Bulldogs. I really didn't know anything about South Carolina other than Sterling. It was the school Sterling Sharp went to. You know what I mean? And I knew that they had a Heisman Trophy winner, but other than that, I didn't really know too much history, man. So it was an adjustment for me. The biggest adjustment was like I can remember the learning about the Clemson Carolina rivalry.
Yep.
Being like, bro, this shit means nothing to me. You know what I mean? So, but then you get wrapped up in it, and it's like by the time you leave, it means everything to you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Those guys at this point.
Dude, that's the truest thing. That's the truest thing, though, man. I remember like, oh man, I don't give a shit as long as you guys beat Clemson. It's like,
right.
I don't give a fuck about Clemson. Like, we're trying to compete for the SEC around here.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, you get wrapped up into it and you start playing against those guys and hear the shit talk from, the message boards on the fans and everything else. It's like, all right, man, to hell with these guys.
Yeah, man. So, you kind of fall in love with the rivalry, man. And then you start hating, orange and blue, you know what I mean? Or whatever, purple, whatever color it is. You start hating the color, you know what I mean? So,
Yep.
Well, you had an incredible run in South Carolina, and then you went on and you ended up being the 10th overall pick to the Houston Texans. Talk about draft night, kind of combine prep, all that stuff.
Yeah, man. I kind of, if you look at the old Rocky movies, that was kind of my preparation for draft. I was in Newark, New Jersey. You know what I mean? But extremely focused. I worked out at called Parisi Speed School, where they train a lot of MMA fighters, UFC fighters, things like that at the time. And I stayed there probably, we didn't go to a bowl game my senior year, so our season was over in November. So from December all the way till the combine in March, I was in Newark, New Jersey training, man. So it kept me extremely focused and laser focused on, what I was trying to accomplish. And then draft night, man, was just, it was a beautiful night, but it was also an exhausting night. You know what I mean? I remember after going through that process, man, and finally understanding which team I was going to play for. I think I slept probably to 2 p.m. the next day. And I'm talking about not getting up and waking. I'm talking about just sleep all the way through. So it was an exhausting experience, but it was a blessing. And Houston, it was kind of like South Carolina was another place that I didn't know too much about. So I had to learn all about the culture, make the adjustment, man. And ended up being a city that I loved. I enjoyed playing in. Houston was a expansion team.
Right. Yep.
Coming in 2002. So I was their third first round draft pick. David Carr was their first draft pick from 2002.
Yep.
Andre Johnson was their second draft pick in 2003, and I was their third draft pick in 2004. So
that's badass.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
That is pretty badass.
Yeah, man. So it's super cool, man. So people are always trying to figure out what their purpose is, man. And I feel like mine was just, some guys go on, they win Super Bowls, they do these things. Mine, I was drafted to, even from South Carolina to Houston. I came into programs where they were trying to get the programs back on track. You know what I mean? So now I can sit back and look at the success and be like, dang, even though I'm not on the field, I feel like I played a part in that. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, Steven and I, we talk about it almost every single episode, but everybody we talked to came to South Carolina or ended up going somewhere and wanted to make the place better than it was when they left. And you did that at South Carolina. You went and did it at in Houston. You did it in Atlanta. Like kind of everywhere, man. You've had an amazing impact everywhere you've ever been.
No, man, I appreciate it, man. And hopefully one of these days our Gamecocks will bring back a natty. You know what I'm saying? I know I hate to put that pressure on them, but it's about time that we start putting that pressure.
100%.
I think that's what they're building towards, man. Like, Lenoris is a special player. The receiving corps, I think, is going to really flash some heads. The offensive line, they're big up front, dude.
So let me ask you all a question. Is this I hadn't seen him in person, but is Nick Harbor really the size that it says 6'5", like 230? Really?
Yeah.
He's Calvin. I mean,
he's a
you had to guard Calvin Johnson, I would imagine, in some way, shape, or form, didn't you?
Yeah.
He's Calvin. I wouldn't say he doesn't quite, or he top line like runs past Calvin, but he doesn't have the start stop like Calvin does. Not yet. We might see something. This is his first ever full off season.
Yeah.
He's been a track guy every off season. So
okay, yeah. I mean, but I've been, I hear a lot about him, and I know they're expecting some major things from him. You know what I'm saying? So be excited to see if he can be that the best receiver in the SEC. Like, it's about time we start putting that kind of pressure on the players in Carolina. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're right. I think if you're, especially with how much money these guys are getting paid, I mean, it is time to kind of put their feet to the fire.
I mean, this is the first time ever that South Carolina has had a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Dylan Stewart, and then, I mean, arguably one of the most talented receivers ever in Nick Harbor. So, I mean, I do think there's big things ahead, and I think they're really going to – I mean, they made headway last year with the growth and development of the program. And Beamer's foot on the gas. He's ready to keep rolling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, one thing they won't have no problem is selling out in Williams-Brice. So,
There's no doubt. Hey, real quick, what do you think was the biggest challenge going from the SEC to you start with Houston? Was there much of a obviously there's got to be a huge gap, but
I mean, Steve, you would think so, man, but the SEC, I felt like I was prepared, to be honest with you. I felt like playing in the SEC prepared me for what I was going to see in the NFL.
Right.
And so when I got there and I had to line up against Andre Johnson, I had already seen big receivers, not 6'5" receivers, but I had already seen 6'3" receivers that could run, like little guys. You know what I mean? And so I was kind of prepared. Obviously the NFL, the speed is different, but when you're playing, the teams that we play every Saturday, you are a little bit more prepared than some of the kids or some of the players that comes from other conferences. I will say that for me. So I don't necessarily, I didn't think it was a big difference. Only my inexperience. That was the main. And
I feel like that makes most sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and the quicker you get out there and you get the experience, you kind of start to adjust even to the speed of the NFL.
The game slows down, as they say, right?
Yeah, man. The game slows down a lot, man. I can remember my first preseason game. It was against Dallas Cowboys, and Keyshawn Johnson, bro. He was talking so much shit. You know what I mean?
Still does.
Yeah. Ain't nothing changed, man. Shout out to Keyshawn. He's one of the best to do it, man. But he was just talking so much shit, and I was like, I know you played at the other USC, but I played at USC too. You know what I mean? The real.
And it's on.
And so, I was prepared for all of those things. Like, it wasn't a moment where it was like, man, I've never heard this type of trash talk. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, man, this is a normal Saturday in the SEC.
Yep.
So,
right.
Who during your time in the NFL, who was the hardest guy you ever had to cover and why?
I would say Marvin Harrison.
Okay.
Marvin Harrison, Indianapolis coach. It don't help that you got Peyton Manning, one of the greatest, one of the best.
Put the ball wherever he wants to.
You know what I mean? But certain guys, if you talk about at any position, people have weaknesses. You may be a route runner, but maybe you don't have that much speed. You may be fast guy, but maybe you're not a good route runner. Or you can have both of those, but not have the quickness to get off the line. Marvin Harrison had everything, man. He was an A+ route runner. He had great hands. And so you could never really tell or line him up and say, man, okay, I know I can do this with him. And then sometimes, a lot of times he was the ex-receiver, but he would be off the ball. And it's like, well, damn, I can't even really jam it. He'd be cheating over there, or testing, not cheating, but testing he'd be testing the referees, the side judges, and ref be like, yo, move up, Marvin. He inch up just a little bit. Still not far enough so you can get your hands on him like you need to, man. So he was a complete receiver, man. So probably the best that I ever covered.
That's a name you don't that's a name you don't really hear. That's a name you don't really hear often, though. I mean, when you talk about like the go-to receivers, I feel like Marvin Harrison doesn't get
he's like a quiet, sleepy, super productive. I mean, he's got a gold jacket.
For sure. Very quiet though. Wasn't as flamboyant as the receiver.
Keyshawn.
He definitely near. Marvin didn't say nothing the whole game, bro. Like, and I wasn't used to that. You know what I'm saying? Especially coming from wide receivers, but he wouldn't talk the entire game. And it's them quiet assassins, them the ones you got to worry about. You know what I mean?
No shit.
Yeah, like have I not stirred you at all? Like, do you have any pulse? Like, nope, no pulse. You're like, shit. What can I do?
This is not good.
Yeah.
Did you have like a welcome to the NFL moment?
Oh man. Yeah, I will. I did have a welcome to the NFL moment. Opening week we're playing, and this ain't preseason. Opening week preseason was Dallas Cowboys. That was the Keyshawn Johnson moment. Opening week against the LA Chargers. They hit me with a double move early in the game. I slipped and fell down, and I lit up the scoreboard. You know what I mean? So, or my receiver lit up the scoreboard. You know what I mean? So I slipped, I fell down, man, and I gave up a touchdown. And that was, for me, that was welcome to the NFL because I had, I was so respected in the SEC that I didn't get tried a lot. Yep. You know what I mean? So, and it's like, man, you got to earn this respect all over again. And they went at me. And so I learned, okay, I got to take some different steps to become a better pro. You know what I mean? Yep. I ain't got it right now. So I'm just out here, a kid playing with talent. But, it definitely made me go sit down and really figure out how to be a professional football player. It brings out the competitiveness in me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
What I keep hearing with your story is like you were a one-star coming out of high school, came to Carolina, like work ethic on 1,000. You go through Carolina, have a great 4 years there, go to do your combine prep, like started early. You said, screw this. Like I haven't arrived yet. Grinded there, earned a top 10 pick overall, got to the NFL. It was still like, I haven't arrived yet. Yep. What can I do to constantly make my game better? I think that's a big thing that young athletes need to hear, right? I mean, they like every kid in high school is the best player on their high school team if they're going to play in the SEC. If you're a first-round pick in the SEC, you're the best player on your team. If you're a first-rounder in the NFL, you're the top 10 talent on your team just giving off right off the bat.
Yeah.
And your mindset was like, I've never arrived. Like, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah. And I think that's what kind of kept me around for so long, you know what I mean? And it was, I'm talking about even in Pop Warner because, like I said, I wasn't a big kid. So, coaches were always looking for the bigger kids to kind of throw out there. So, even from a young age, I knew I was always having to prove myself. And so I always let what I do on the field do the talking. What I did on the field, let that be your resume, let that be your voice. You know what I mean? And so, and that was kind of the path. I kind of recognized that about myself young. And I just worked it on each level. You know what I mean? And it worked out for me because, like I said, when I got to Carolina, I was probably 4th or 5th as a freshman, and I actually played as a true freshman. I ended up through camp, working my way up, and I didn't get a lot of snaps, in-game snaps, other than special teams, but I did redshirt, and most of the guys that were highly touted, a lot of those guys kind of redshirted my year. So, I mean, that's always been my story, man. From Houston to Atlanta, and then finishing up at Kansas City when me and you crossed paths leaving, Pat.
I know, man. Like Carl, I gave each other high fives. Like you got to Kansas City. I got cut, I think, the next day. You might have took my roster spot, you asshole. And you were coming from Atlanta and went there. So we like two passes of the wind, just crossing paths.
Yeah, man.
But man, I think when I got to Atlanta, like people were still talking about you a bunch and your impact and everything. They're like, "Oh, you're a Gamecock like Dante." I was like, "Yeah."
Represent wherever we go,
Yeah, and I missed.
If you're gonna give your spot up, dog, it might as well be to a former game.
I missed John Abraham by a year too. He was with you there in 12. I didn't even get to play with him. I mean, two of the best ever doing it in Garnet and Black.
Sure.
But talk about now. Brag on your family a little bit. I know you're married. You've been married a while now.
Yes,
a bunch of kids. Got a daughter at South Carolina State. Brag on your fam.
Yeah, man. 5 kids, man. Beautiful wife. We've been married for 11 years, and really we've been together since high school. You know what I mean? So she definitely held me down through all the tough times, everything that I've been through. You know what I mean? So, I have a son who's a journalism major at Georgia State. I have my daughter she just entered South Carolina State volleyball. So super proud of her. I got a 9th grader son, a 7th grade son, a 7th grade daughter, and a 5th grade son. So Aiden's my oldest. Jade is my 2nd oldest. That's my daughter that's at South Carolina State. Cody's my freshman in high school. Baylor's my 7th grader, and Kyan's my 5th grader. 3 boys, man. Only one of them play football, dog. You know what I'm saying?
You guys have all the phases of life going on.
Man. I'm talking about, we're in elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So my emotions be shot.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
But it's cool, man. It's a blessing, man. It's it's good stuff. It keep us on our toes, keep us young, keep us active. You know what I'm saying? So I love the space that I'm in. That's for sure.
Yeah. So your oldest 2 were alive when you were still playing, right? They got to experience it a little bit.
Yeah, they did, man. My son Aiden, when he was young, after every game, I used to bring him on the fields. Bring him on the field after the game, let him walk in the locker room with me. So he got that kind of whole locker room experience. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? My younger kids, they can only just, pull up YouTube and
they see the jerseys on the wall and they're like, Dad, they're mine.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's just a hope and a dream, for them. But we still get to games, not as much because my son is playing travel football now, and I coach his travel football team. So, it's a lot of moving parts, and we're still super busy, man. But they know who Daddy is. You know.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons Steven and I started this podcast is because we wanted to highlight former players and kind of what they're up to now. So outside of having 5 kids and chasing everybody around and all that, what else are you up to?
Hey, man, one thing people don't understand about, being a football player is it don't last long, and you gotta find ways to make money. You know what I'm saying? So real estate, man, has kind of been, the next phase of life. I found out, I recognized early, and my mentality is once I'm done with one thing, I'm not going to sit and weep, moan, and cry about what's not anymore. It's time to dive into something else. You know what I mean? And figure out what else.
Love that.
Yeah, that's kind of been my attitude. And attitude like that, for me, it keeps the anxiety away. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm just like, nah, I'm just going to dive into a bunch of different things and figure out what sticks, man. And I figured out I had that same passion for real estate. You know what I mean? And and that's been the goal, man. I started my company in 2016. Mm-hmm. So almost 10 years running now. And so, man, just, flipping real estate, managing real estate, and investing in real estate. You feel me?
Dante's on one of our projects at Case and Development. We're doing the Gather project over in Bull Street, outdoor food hall. Have a bunch of Gamecock athletes, some NFL guys, some college guys. So we got a really good group on that, and appreciate you supporting us and seeing the vision and wanting to be a part of that. It's coming along. You're going to be open November 1st.
I'll be there.
So you'll have to come for the grand opening and enjoy a nice little cocktail. I'm sure Stephen will find his way up there for a good little meal.
Yeah, so we can have that first cocktail together, Steve.
Yeah, the proper one. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But it's a blessing, man, and which was exciting because it brings me back to Columbia a little bit more. So, Pat, I appreciate you reaching out, man, and even making that possible. You know what I mean? So, before I came down a couple of weeks ago, or last month to Columbia, that was my first time in probably 7 years. You know what I mean? So, just brought back so many memories. I was able to bring my kids. You know what I'm saying? So they were kind of able to see, Pop's old stomping grounds, man. So it was dope, man. So looking to spend a lot more time in Columbia. I will say that.
You talked about coming through and you're like, whoa, what's going on with everything around the stadium? And whoa, Columbia's super developed. I mean, I was the same way 4 years ago when I moved back here. Like the fact that Columbia had a Whole Foods, I was like, whoa, Columbia's arrived. It has a Whole Foods. And then you keep going and there's all these other mass developments. So no, real estate is incredible. It's a vehicle, right, to help you, one, make money, two, make impact.
Sure.
And you've made a lot of impact, not only on the field, but off the field. Talk about kind of the philanthropic stuff you've done. Obviously, you're coaching your son's football teams and stuff now. So talk about kind of those impacts.
Yeah, man. So, the philanthropic stuff, man, I started a foundation, Dante Robinson Community Foundation, 2012. Really as I was playing, but, I couldn't really get it off the ground the way I wanted as a player. So once I was done, I was able to really dive into it, man. And, and our focus is I take youth football players and I force them to read. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of what my foundation is about. So we do read. We have we focus on literacy. That's one of the major things that we focus on, man. And getting kids interested in books, interested in stories. And it's a lot of low income kids who may not have access where they can see books and where they can get books and see characters who kind of look like them, and just kind of trying to do whatever it takes to get them interested in literacy and interested in reading. You know what I mean? Because data shows statistically that kids that don't read on a third grade level, what's next for their future, and most of the time it's the prison system. You know what I mean?
Right.
In a lot of ways, it's prison. We're trying to prevent. And we're trying to prevent a lot of that when they grow up, man, and just give them opportunity. And, and a lot of these kids are super talented that I work with, man, and they want to play football. And I'm like, well, if you can't read, you can't play football because you won't be able, you know what I mean? And so, just trying to spark that fire, man. So that's some of the philanthropy. That's a little bit about the philanthropy that I do, man. And, and so it's just fun stuff, man. And just trying to serve the community. It's super important. You feel me?
Yeah. Did you play with Langston and Preston?
Sir, Langston and Preston. Preston was one of the smartest dudes in our class. He took our GPA up. He took the team GPA up. I definitely say that. You know what I'm saying?
You got to love guys like that.
Yeah, man. You got to have a couple of them dudes on the team, man, for your overall GPA. And
100%
was definitely one of them guys that raised the GPA.
So I would imagine Just the Chicken's a book that's come through the program.
Yes, sir, man. Just the Chicken, man. I know they've been doing that for a couple of years now, man. And I know they're in a bunch of schools. I haven't gotten it into my reading club yet, man, but that's a good idea, Pat. I think we overdue, so that'll be my next.
I have it. It's in both of my boys' rooms. We read it probably once a week. It's a lot of life lessons and reading and getting these kids engaged and excited about something and like expanding their imagination.
Important.
I mean, it's so important. I sit there and I challenged myself when I was playing to try to read a book a month. And now chasing around I got 4 young kids chasing around my kids, man. I'm sitting there and I'm like, a book a quarter sounds good at this point. But it's so impactful.
Well, yeah, because you got to think of all the other distractions that they got going on in this day and age, man. Everybody's got a phone. Everybody's got access to some other bullshit. It's just, It's nothing but distractions. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, man. Kids sit and play video games. Like, I was a generation, we went outside or we got kicked out the house. Mom, dad made us go outside. And you stay outside pretty much all day long until the street.
Until it got, yep.
You know what I mean? Like nowadays, man, it's like you have to peel them off the game. And, I have to do that with my own kids, so it is different, man. But it is what it is. Every generation is different. This is the comfort generation. That's kind of what I call them. They just
that's one term I'd use to describe it.
All right, last question before you got to jump. But if you could put the pads back on one more time, would it be in a college game or an NFL game?
Oh man, that's a great question. Let me think about it. Ain't nothing like them college Saturdays, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Special. Like, the NFL, Sundays are cool. It's the money is great, but it's just something about, pulling out of the dorm and, driving up to the locker room, you know what I mean? And jumping out, or not even driving to the locker room. I don't know what they do now. They probably pulling up in Lambos and things now. Taking the bus to the locker room from the hotel, man, and and figuring out, man, what y'all gonna do after this win. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole college experience of freedom and no worries. It really don't get no better than that, man. So if I could strap it on one more time, it would probably be for a Saturday. I definitely would say them Saturdays, and against a top opponent.
Yeah,
maybe
Georgia.
Yeah.
Give me 2010 Alabama again, all day, every day.
Yeah.
Especially
that
game was
on ESPN not too long ago. It was like a bunch of Gamecock games from, I think, 2010, maybe 2011 season. So, I got to recap, man, and watch you guys. Y'all ball. Lattimore in the backfield. Pat, see you coming out in the flats. Garcia, I see you kind of navigating and running the show. You know what I mean? So,
I'll tell you what, it's crazy how fast it goes, man. I remember those games. I'm sure you guys remember all the games you guys played. And I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yo. It goes fast, man, and shit. Now I'm sitting here 11 years out of the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So 22 years, 21 years removed from college, man. So it goes, and it don't seem to be slowing down. You feel me?
No, it's getting faster. Kids do that to you.
Yo, thanks. How many kids you got?
I got 3. He turns 18 in October, so he's a quarterback. He actually just transferred to the high school that I went to. So he's turns 18 in October. Then I got a 11-year-old daughter who's in 5th grade, and then a 2.5-year-old daughter.
That's what's
They're
up.
kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I'm saying, you done, or you got more in you?
No, I got to find out if my Russian wife wants any more. I don't know if she's gonna have a say in it though.
I mean, between the three of us, we could field an entire football team, at least one side of the field, and have an extra just in case somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, they would call our pull-out game weak, fellas.
That's a great way to end this segment right there. I love it.
Dude, well, appreciate you joining us. We're definitely going to have that cocktail at Gather Cola coming up here this fall. And thank you for coming on and sharing your story. And keep making impact, brother.
Man, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me on, dog. And I'll catch up with y'all a little bit later, man.
Yeah, man, you got my number. We'll be in touch, and we'll definitely link up in Columbia one of these days.
All right, sound good to me. Rather sooner than later, man.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all be blessed, man. Have a great one.
You as well, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Peace.